Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album War. Today, we're going to continue on with four today. All right, we got two matchups. All four contestants kind of sit inside the progressive rock realm for today. For this particular show, we've got two British acts. Not quite well known, all right? It's amazing how many people on the Facebook poll have been like, I don't know either of these two bands or ever heard these old albums. You guys got to remember, we've got, out of our almost 9,000 subscribers, we've got a very healthy audience that are more into metal and hard rock, and an equally, healthy number that are into prog rock. A lot of times you're going to get stuff you may not have heard of, but doesn't mean it's not good. So be open-minded, go out and explore some of this stuff. So we're going to start off two live albums, one from 74, one from 76. The first from Barclay Harvest, just called Live. All right. The second, Renaissance, live at Carnegie Hall. Okay, two very, very cool albums. We're going to start off with Barclay Harvest first. So, not a well-known band, but for those in the know and prog rock fans in general, always talk very highly of this album. I've had this on CD for 25 years or so, and it's a good one. All right, originally a double album. Both of these are original double albums. Okay. This one recorded at various places, all right, while the band was on tour in 74. The Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, Liverpool Stadium, all right. We've got the lineup of, bear with me here a second, all right, on bass and rhythm guitar and vocals, Les Holroyd. We've got Mel Pritchard on drums. You've got John Leese on lead guitar and vocals. You've got Wooly Wolstenholme on mellotron, electric piano, synths, all sorts of keyboards. Okay, a very, very strong band who kind of had, it's kind of hard to describe Barclay Harvest. They had a real kind of pop element to their sound. They did a little folk, but of course they did kind of like the symphonic classical rock thing, kind of like the Moody Blues. If you like the Moody Blues and you've never listened to Barclay Harvest, that's probably the closest comparison I can give. At times, a little bit of Beatles stuff going on in their music, but most closely for me, they always kind of resembled the Moody Blues. Just a lot of really gorgeous vocal harmonies. Their tunes are not overly rocking, but they could rock out. A lot of mellotron. A lot of mellotron, acoustic and electric guitars. Just a really, really pleasant band with a lot of really good melodies floating throughout their music. This particular live album is just haunting because it's got so much freaking mellotron on it, man. It's like if you love the mighty mellotron, if you're a prog fan, or maybe not a prog fan, but just love the cool mellotron keyboard, which basically, contains samples, right? Each key hits on a particular sample of either woodwind instruments or horns or what have you. Loads of mellotron on here. So starting off with the amazing Summer Soldier. All right, some nice stinging lead guitar on this tune and a lot of tunes on the album. You've got Medicine Man, the excellent Crazy City, After the Day, the great 1974 mining disaster, one of their more well-known tracks, the stunning Galadriel, okay, Negative Earth, pretty rockin' tune, a lot of drama in that song, I like it. She Said, mellotron heaven on that one. Paper Wings, okay, For No One, and finishing it all off with a absolutely emotional, breathtaking version of Mockingbird, okay, another one of their more popular tunes. For my money, and I own a good chunk of the Barclay Harvest studio catalog, at least up to a certain point. I think I kind of stopped buying their stuff for like the mid-late 80s. But for my money, this question has often been asked, Pete, is there any instances of a live album by a band you like where the live album is your favorite album by them? This is it. This is it. I like a lot of their studio stuff, but I just felt, and they have another live album called Berlin, which is also really, really good. But for my money, they were never as kind of like powerful and dramatic as they are on here. I love the guitar tones on this album. I just absolutely love the mellotron. This is not the greatest sounding from a production standpoint live album ever released. It's a little muddy in spots and what have you, but it's still just so stunning to listen to. It's just so powerful and dramatic. I just really dig it a lot. And like I said, this is my favorite Barclay James Harvest album. Another one of those ones where if you are not familiar with the band at all, check this out, okay? Because this contains a lot of their, really, really spectacular songs from the early part of their catalog. All right, over on the other end of the ring, we've got Renaissance, okay? Live at Carnegie Hall. This is the very, very recent reissue, remaster of this album, okay? And it brings now, for the first time ever, the entire performance at Carnegie Hall that particular evening. All right, and let's get the specifics, shall we? Bear with me a second here. All right, recorded June 20th and 22nd, 1975, Carnegie Hall. So they played a couple nights there, obviously. With the record plant remote, okay? It's either the record plant remote or the Rolling Stones mobile, one or the other, right? So this includes every song that they play, because they played, obviously, a couple nights, but they played the same set each night. This includes all the performances, all right? The lineup here, of course, Annie Haslam, lead vocals, Michael Dunford on acoustic and electric guitars, John Tout on keyboards, backing vocals, John Camp on bass, lead vocals on a track, also backing vocals, and Terrence Sullivan on drums. Also, you've got the New York Philharmonic Orchestra and Choir with Tony Cox, the orchestra conductor. All right. Sensational stuff, my friends. Sensational stuff. Of course, if you're not familiar with Renaissance, basically there was kind of two versions of Renaissance. There was the first version of Renaissance, which kind of formed out of the ashes of the Yardbirds, right? The first two Renaissance albums, very different beasts than what they later became, more kind of like psychedelic rock with classical overtones, things like that, female vocals. Then the band basically splintered. All new members came in. They continued to use the name. And then we have, obviously, this lineup, the classic lineup of the band, playing a kind of symphonic rock with lots of folk and classical textures. Really beautiful stuff. Very bombastic in spots. Piano, acoustic guitar, female vocals, lead bass, Rickenbacker bass. Very symphonic sound. Okay, just majestic. I mean, it's just one of the most unique bands ever to walk the face of the earth. Okay, so on CD1, we got double disc, sorry, all sorts of tickles in my nose this morning. It's got nothing to do with anything else, trust me. CD1, okay, originally double disc set. Now we got the remaster here. Prologue kicks it all off. Okay, that's from the first album with Annie and company in the band. Great on here. It's mostly instrumental with just some soaring, vocalizations. Great song. Great way to kick off the album. Then you got the elegant Ocean Gypsy, one of the more well-known tunes. You got Kiev, also from that Prologue album. Okay, Kiev, not on the original LP. Here it is put back in the set the way it should be. Can You Understand? Another great tune. A lot of epic tracks on here. Carpet of the Sun, another one of their more catchy, endearing tunes. Probably should have been a hit. Running Hard, drama, drama, drama. Love it, love it. And then the amazing Mother Russia. Okay, easily one of their best songs of all time. Then over on CD2, you've got the entire Song of Scheherazade. Okay, amazing concept album from them. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. Again, classical inspired rock, art rock, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't get much better than that. And then, of course, finishing it all off with my personal favorite Renaissance song, Ashes Are Burning. Love Ashes Are Burning. It's splendid on here. Lengthy. I mean, a lot of these tunes are just like 10, 15 minutes long. But in a good way, right? It's just, you got pianos and Rickenbacker bass, man. I can't tell you how great the bass work is on this album. Annie's vocals just soaring, stunning, right? And then if you get the reissue that Esoteric is released, you get a third CD live BBC Radio 1 in concert, also from 1976. So great, great stuff. A band at their peak right here. So putting them both together, well, this one's a pretty easy choice for me. As much as I love this, and I do, Renaissance just are a killer band. And just mean a lot more to me than Barclay James Harvest, though I do dig that live album quite a bit. This is really special, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of people who really probably have never heard this or that one. I would urge you, if you have no experience with Renaissance whatsoever, go and listen to this. Trust me. It's one of the best prog rock live albums of the the 70s. All right, it's an unsung gem that more people need to know about. And if you're already into it, you know what I'm talking about, right? But you can't go wrong with either of these. Again, if these two bands are not familiar to you, definitely go investigate them, because these will give you a really good kind of representation of what each band is all about. So I'm going to choose Renaissance, 5th Round KO. All right, not to discredit the Barclay James Harvest album, because like I said, I dig it quite a bit, but I just prefer this one. So you know how it works, guys. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a little white circle with an I in it. That's where you click to vote for BJH or Renaissance. Okay, you can also leave some comments below. Tell us why you like the one you like, or if you've never heard either one of them, let us know, but please go and listen to them and then come back and report what you found out, because I always like to hear that. I always like to see when people discover new music for the first time, or stuff that's new to them, what their initial thoughts are, right? You can also go on our Facebook page and vote there. We've had the poll going all morning. Not a ton of people voting, because I think a lot of people just haven't heard these, but you know what? They are classic live albums. Remember, you know, we get, like I said, we get people commenting all the time. It's like, oh, you're reaching here, Pardo. I never heard of either of these. Well, you know what? A lot of people have. All right, you can't all just have, you know, top 10 live albums. There's a lot of great live albums out there that, you know, are well respected by a lot of people that maybe weren't huge sellers. These two being some of them. But of course, we can't cover all of them. I'm trying to cover as many of them as I possibly can. We've got a couple more weeks on the first round of this tournament. All right, it's everything's kind of falling into place here. We got all of our winners so far stacking up, waiting for their next combat, okay, for their next battle. All right, but we still got plenty to get to over the next couple weeks. We've got some guest star. You know, a lot of you have been asking questions about, you know, certain live albums from Queen and, you know, Robin Trower and, you know, all sorts of, you know, Rush and all sorts of other bands. They're coming, guys, because I've got some guest stars lined up to help me out with some of these, and you know how that works, trying to schedule this stuff. Plus, I've been traveling out for business, so we're going to get to all of them, all right? All the major ones, they're coming. I'm going to try and do a lot of them on my own, but we've got some guest stars coming in. We're going to help out a few of them, and they should be a lot of fun. So just stay calm, be patient. Everything's coming, all right, in due time, in due time. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're every day on YouTube. So tune in later today. We got another cool prog rock battle, all right? But for the meantime, cast your vote for one of these, and we'll see which one advances to round 2. We'll see you later, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.